my God, it's almost like we're producing these days. Like,
I know. Hey, welcome to Critical Role. Wait, sorry.
Sorry.
Hey, welcome to Lawfully Chaotic, Season 5, Episode 17.
Is it really? Season 5? Are we halfway through our 10-year cycle?
Wow, when you put it like that.
Welcome to Critical Role, our lovely chaos. Wait, I gotta use the bathroom real quick.
Welcome to episode 17. Kristen will not be joining us tonight. She has changed her work schedule, so she might be done joining us as a regular, unfortunately. Although tonight,
I can't blame her. I can't blame her.
Yeah, no, I know. But actually, tonight she is in Chicago. I might try to meet up with her. I'm hoping.
Gen Con?
No, not Gen Con. Gen Con's in Indianapolis, where everybody is. She is at a collectible card convention in Rosemont, which is, given traffic, 20 minutes away from me. So hopefully I can meet up with her this weekend. But anyway, she will not be joining us tonight, and potentially probably not for the long term because her work schedule changed and she is now doing the graveyard shift.
Yes.
So
she strikes me as a bit of a vampire. I'm not too surprised.
A little bit, yeah, which kind of intrigues me. But anyway, we will try to get her on when we can. So you're stuck with Jason and I tonight. Jason, the storyteller from TTRPG Academy, who runs the most awesome games ever. You should definitely, if you're looking for a game of anything, D&D, Daggerheart, or anything, reach out to Jason at TTRPG Academy because I played a number of his games, and Jason is an awesome DM. So GM.
Yeah,
so
it's fun. Well, and I will spill some tea. You're a pretty fun player too.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You have a lot of fun with the voices. I've learned to cope with your half-century-old attention span because I have the same problem. It's okay.
Yes.
My favorite is the annoyed look that Chris gets when I do a really cool kind of exposition of something. And then you finally look up at the camera and you're like, oh yeah, where are we going now? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Chris just wants to reach through the camera and just fucking.
I know. And I probably should make that an actual affectation of my character at this point. But I appreciate you as a GM putting up with that shit. So
it's because that's part of the angst of playing at a table. The little the nuances, the play style. There's a reason why there's not a single utopian place in the world because utopia doesn't exist.
It's
never going to exist.
You can get 97.5% there, but
there's just too much humanity in the too much humanity in the world. So you're never going to have utopia. So
if only the whole world were AI.
What?
What? But seriously,
Jason runs. Death Squad. Our secret is out.
But seriously, if you are watching this and you've ever wanted to join a game and you don't know how, go over to TTRPG Academy because Jason, truly, all kidding aside, Jason runs awesome games.
And I do have my own platform over at TTRPG Academy .life. But if you feel more comfortable exploring one of my games through Start Playing Game, which is a little bit more of a much more general reach platform than obviously dealing with someone's a little bit more independent. Keep in mind, I do run 7 tables. So I have 3 tables that are open that I'm trying to fill right now. But if you want, I've got Fandelver and I've got Daggerheart Pirates over at Start Playing Games. So
Pirates. That's awesome.
I built a Daggerheart pirate world, and
did you?
I stole Kevin Costner's Waterworld, and then I kicked him out of it. I got rid of him, and then I kept the premise, but I made it medieval.
I might be one of the few people on the planet Earth that actually really liked the movie Waterworld.
Well, I mean, the average age of the actors in that movie were like 45 and 50 at the time, so I'm not surprised.
You know what? For what it was. I kind of feel like it's not quite the level of Starship Troopers, but it's kind of got that cult. I think give it another 10 years,
I think
it'll become a cult classic.
I think what Starship Troopers did accurately is they made sure that the only non-cringy episode or episodic event with children was children stomping on bugs. The way they kind of parade that little girl around in Waterworld,
remember that? Yeah,
it's a little cringy. Like it's a little unnecessary. You could have easily like tattooed that map onto the back of like a dead pirate or something, and everyone's looking for the pirate. You know,
I don't know.
You know, like all the women are wearing fishnetting and. There's a lot of tropes going on.
I know. I don't disagree, but as far as
back then, I recognize tropes.
I know, but as far as like watchable, good, shitty movies,
it's definitely
pretty high up there.
Movie. Yeah,
so,
I agree with that.
But speaking of,
you got the expansion.
Got it. I got both.
The deluxe. Pretty.
I got the you know what? I wish I brought it up here. I didn't think about it. It's downstairs. The deluxe version, the artwork on that is absolutely phenomenal. They give you a full set of 7 dice, resin dice, which are beautiful. They give you 7 specific D12s for Hope and Fear, which is awesome. And you know what? And again, I'm remiss because I should have thought about it beforehand and brought it up here. But they give you, there's a DM screen or a GM screen, and they give you resin. It looks like dice, but there's a slot in them. So you can slot
your tokens.
Yeah. You can
awesome.
slot Hope and Fear tokens on the top of your GM screen. That's
cool. That's cool.
They really.
It's really funny if you ever get a chance. Head over to Etsy and look up Daggerheart tokens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on there for I'm sure if you want it. Our local fruit vendors come by and Callista wants to buy a flat of mangoes.
Send me I'll take a case of mangoes, please.
Yeah, I bet you would.
It's I mean,
like that's what's been really fun about the Daggerheart system. Like a lot of the third-party creators have really gotten into like making the dice, making the GM screens, making the tokens, making their own versions of cards. I mean, you could go to Daggerheart the Void, and you could create your own card templates and fill them out. And if you have the money, go have them printed out if you want. I mean, it's not that hard to have card stock printed these days.
So far, the Hope and Fear expansion, there's some new domain. There's 2 new domains, I think. There's some new classes, Warlock, Witch, whatnot.
And those all survived the play test. So
yes.
They got some pretty cool freaking new play testing that they're doing. It's definitely,
I think it's definitely worth the money. It's also, they've got more equipment. They've got some spells. I mean,
they're working on the Summoner class, which is the Blood and Splendor domain. They're finally codifying their version of the Blood Hunter because I'm pretty sure Matt owns that. I'm pretty sure Matt owns the IP for Blood Hunter, and I think that's what they're.
I think he does. Yeah.
They're building out a whole new adversary and environment.
That was
1.5.
Allison first played the Blood Hunter, right? He was basically the test case for that.
Yeah. And they came up with the new system of transformation cards that I believe are still in playtest. But Witch class, Assassin. The new Ancestries, the Warlock, the Brawler. I mean, their playtesting system, their community involvement is pretty epic. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they've got... I didn't actually expect to go through this, but...
you don't have to. You can always save it for a show and tell event.
Executioner's Guild, Poisoner's Guild. They've got subclasses, Assassin, Brawler, subclasses, Juggernaut or Martial Artist. Warlock, subclass, Pact of the Endless or Pact of the Wrathful. And Witch, Subclass is Hedge or Moon. So they've got 4 new classes to play, each with 2 subclasses.
I think Witch is going to be very popular because it's kind of a new class that isn't kind of already previously kind of exposed to other systems as much.
Yeah.
So I think it does introduce an interesting kind of clarity or question. I always thought that a male witch was a warlock. So can a witch be a male? Right? I mean, I always thought but technically in the game, a warlock could be either male, female, they, them, or however you want to identify your character. Yeah. But I always thought it was interesting.
Maybe it's witch and watch.
Now you're just making it up again.
But I've been playing Daggerheart in your Neons and Ley Lines campaign on Tuesday nights, which is cyberpunk based.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I am really enjoying the Daggerheart system, the mechanics. It is really
adaptive. I mean, it's adaptive. It has what we love, which is you have your own resources to spend to do things. You could, as a player, think something's really cool, and the GM goes, "Yeah, that is really cool. Let's just add that to the game. It sounds awesome."
Yeah.
The theater of the mind, I think, in Daggerheart's a lot easier too, because you no longer have to worry about distances. As a
distances really simplified.
As a GM, I could just say, well, you're kind of all in a cavern together, so let's say you're all close at this point. That way, as you're kind of lining up what you want to do, you're not worried about looking at things you can't do because you already know that the parameters of the encounter are beginning to unfold at that limited range of activity. So you're able to focus more on that limited range of activity.
Yeah, and I personally, I'm somewhat old school when it comes to rules in terms of like, well, what distance is it, and having a codified these are your distances, and it is very mechanical, and same thing with the initiative, with the spotlight. I have to say that I am enjoying the freedom that Daggerheart provides you, and I'm not really missing the crunch of having, are you 5 feet away, or are you 10 feet away, are you 20 feet away? It's a little bit more freeform. You're in melee combat, you're very close range, you're close range. It just kind of, it allows you to play your character more, the way you want to play them without having to worry about the minutia. And I'm finding that it's not a system that is so freeform that you feel like everything is up for grabs. But the couple of things that they change, which is distances, and obviously the initiative, the whole initiative aspect with the spotlight. Just those two things really open up the play to being able to play your character the way you want. And then to your point, with the resource management, the hope and the stress and whatnot, I mean, it's so refreshing to be able to actually have some options with how to play your character round per round rather than just... And I'm not knocking D&D, but I'm just saying it is a very refreshing system to be able to have this freedom with your character to play it.
What I find interesting is you're a powerful character, but you still only have like 7 hit points.
Oh my God. The
difference in that is just episodic.
I've always had a problem with, you reach 9th, 10th, 11th level and you got 80, 90, 100 hit points, and as a character, as a player, you're like, I could take at least 1, if not 2 rounds of Dragon Breath before I'm in trouble. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
With Daggerheart, the evasion, the armor, and the hit point system, and the tiers of damage.
Emotional damage.
It's really awesome. It is. There is always the aspect of, do I really want to take this damage? And that doesn't exist in D&D when you reach a certain level.
Yeah, it's just part of the expectation.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Basically, is bottom line. So
it is. So let's talk about tonight. What we want to talk about tonight.
Okay, what do you want to talk about tonight?
So I spent an hour listening to the Gen Con D&D Vision Keynote 2027.
Oh God!
Hosted live from the D&D
wait.
Tower at Gen Con. It was facilitated by Baldur's Gate 3 voice actor Theo Solomon and head of D&D franchise Dan Iob. And it highlights nothing really than what we probably already expected, but also at the same time, it kind of highlights their inability to come up with new stuff. You know, that back to that conversation of like, it's almost like their keynote address, and I'll go over the list of what they presented, but first of all, the crowd was very subdued. And I'm like, well, that's what happens when you only invite people that are influencers and are gonna go and post and create videos about what your keynote address is all about. They're not rah-rah people. I mean, I don't know when these vendors and corporate wigs are gonna learn that influencers are not rah-rah people. They're there to consume what you just said, and then they got to turn it into clickbait. What are they going to do to turn that into clickbait and determine how many eyeballs are going to monetize their channel? You know, whether you're Ginny D or whoever, whether you have your own moralistic approach to how you do it versus other creators, at the end of the day, you've invited these people here to listen to your roadmap in hopes that they're going to kiss your ass. So in the midst of this, bringing up some pretty big names on the stage, and I'm talking about names that are probably big to me and you when we were teenagers, except for one or two names. That whole tone deaf thing, a little too much, too late, a little too little, too late. It's like the OSR community has been growing leaps and bounds. People that are playing old school styles of the game, everything they announced, I already have on my shelf, with the exception of one thing, which is they've announced a World of Warcraft and D&D crossover.
Yes,
which I'm not necessarily for or against it. I mean, I was never a huge Warcraft fanboy, so I don't have really any opinion on it. They didn't really discuss what that crossover is really going to entail. How it's like, are they going to create a world and the worlds from the lore are going to become playable, or I don't know how that's going to work. But once again, is that really a new offering? Is a crossover of two existing things being brought together really a new offering? I mean, I think it's a new choice you can make.
I would argue.
I don't think I would call it a new offering.
I was pretty into World of Warcraft up until 2012, 2013, and then I stopped because of schedules and whatnot. And I was never one for what do you call it? Once you level cap at 85 or 95 or 110, whatever it was, the post leveling. God, I forgot the term already because I haven't played Warcraft since like 2013. It was fun for a while, and then once everybody couldn't coordinate schedules, I kind of lost interest. And I also the end game stuff wasn't as enticing to me. And here and the I don't know how interesting that is to me. If you would have told me even back then when I was playing, like, hey, there's a D&D crossover, and to your point, it's like, okay, well, World of Warcraft exists in a very, structured world, in an environment. So are you creating a whole new one? And now do I have to choose? Do I want to play World of Warcraft in D&D, or do I want to play World of Warcraft in Azeroth? I don't know. It just seems like it
feels
seems another
very
reach. It seems reaching to me.
It feels very exploratory.
Yeah.
Let's explore what this might bring us. So, I will say I did enjoy the D&D icons portion of the roadmap. Joe Manganiello is named Chief Creative Officer for the icons line.
Really?
So he's essentially in charge of the icons line. And in the keynote,
that's surprising.
He brought up a lot of personalities for presentation.
Yeah.
He brought up all the people he's going to be working with. These are all the people he's going to be working with as part of his D&D icon lines. This is the overarching keynote address by the creative franchise guy was bringing D&D back home, bringing it back to the hobby store, bringing it back to, the idea that they think they're going to get everyone around the table again. Is what they were kind of focusing on, which is fine. You can say that, but there's a couple of loose ends in your storyline that don't make a lot of sense.
So back to its roots of it, like playing at the kitchen table type thing?
Yeah, playing at the hobby stores, playing at home, playing with your friends, playing,
Okay.
But, I mean, there's some smattering of hypocrisy in there, which there always is, which is fine.
I was going to say, at face value, I find that very refreshing, being our generation and missing the aspect of when we were kids playing around the table.
Well, hold your feedback until you hear this next time.
I don't know how realistic that is in today's world.
So Joe announced Luke Gygax is going to be part of his team.
Okay.
He also announced that Tracy Hickman is part of his team.
Okay.
He also announced that R.A. Salvatore is part of his team.
Okay.
Well. It's a lot of old white guys. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of old white
basically.
Guys. Everything that they've already done, I've consumed, and it sits on my library shelf right now.
Yeah.
So Joe is leading the next kind of release in miniatures, based on the fact that we're going to get some more Dragonlance stuff. We're going to get some more R.A. Salvatore stuff, which tells me we're going to get some more Forgotten Realms. But they're also rebooting Greyhawk officially. So Greyhawk is coming back as an official release.
Okay.
Which I'm not a real fan of that world or that land, so I'm kind of indifferent. They did tie it to Tasha's Cauldron, which was kind of creative to tie it to the witch. I enjoyed the fact that they did that. So maybe they'll give us some brand new stories built on the pillars of the old stories, which would be great. But they don't really talk about that. They talk in these kind of broad strokes of lackluster, and here comes Greyhawk. Okay, let's move on to it's
high level rah like
yeah. And they were talking to the wrong audience for that. There were influencers out there probably already picking this thing apart before they could get the fucking keynote shit done.
Okay.
Now they did announce officially that Dark Sun is coming back.
Really?
Yeah. Braum is be involved as well. And then they illustrated their commitment to Dark Sun with an animated trailer that was dark, brutal, bloody, and just so sinister, that I was genuinely surprised at its presentation. Because
really?
It's not it's not the crowd they've been courting for the last 15
I was going to say, as me in my generation, I would be pretty interested in that. But if I'm putting on my hat of today's world, that seems very counterintuitive to the audience these days.
Well, but I once again, I think what they're thinking they've done is they've listened to the community. And the community is talking about, Dark Sun, Greyhawk, and all these things.
Really?
Yeah, they are. They are. That's where the OSR community was born from. But once again, it's all player centric.
Okay, but how
player centric?
You say the community, the Dark Sun community.
No. That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all. What I said is the D&D community has been voicing some of the retro stuff that hasn't been rebooted yet or re-released. And that conversation about Dark Sun started about 5 years ago. It gained traction within the last year and a half. And then they started teasing at the beginning of this year a possibility of a Dark Sun book coming out. So I think what they're hearing is they're hearing people that might be interested in the idea of Dark Sun, but we want it to be a new story. It doesn't have to be Dark Sun again. It can be the idea of Dark Sun, but in a whole new world with all new class types and races and the dark theme. Halflings are evil, orcs are good. I love that shit. But it doesn't have to be Dark Sun again, just like it didn't have to be Spelljammer again, just like it doesn't have to be Greyhawk again, right? It's like
it kind of comes back.
It's come up with something new. Like Cautious Cauldron was a really great player-based release that a lot of people enjoyed, and it was tied into the Greyhawk lore. What would have been more interesting is if they would have came out with a trailer that showed the witch destroying the old world of Greyhawk through some kind of grandiose battle with lore-specific ideals in mind, and now come and join us for these fresh new adventures and journeys built on the pillars of an old world that's fallen into decay and decadence. And you know what I mean? Like you can, I've been running Dark Sun campaigns off and on for 4 decades. I will occasionally run a Greyhawk campaign if enough people are interested. Mistra is always a world that you can play in. My library is filled with 48 years of play content, right? And when I sit down and watch a keynote address about a 2027 roadmap that is literally regurgitating once again what I already have,
just say
it takes us back to that original conversation we had, which is there's not really anything new left in the creative tank. They're just hoping that a new generation of people that are going to see this for the first time, and they're going to love it as much as we did for 3 generations ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say that same word, regurgitating. Unfortunately, it seems to be. It seems to be the buzzword.
They did a quick thing about the new video game that's coming out, Warlock. So they have a new video game coming out. Tasha's role is intertwined with it. I don't really have enough time to play video games anymore, so I don't really have much interest in that. It looks pretty. It looks like it's got some budget behind it. And I do like the fact that it's Tasha centric. And I like the fact that it's female centric as well. So there's definitely some solid agency in its development.
Yeah.
They also now announced an official partnership with Start Playing Games.
Oh, really? So that's interesting.
D&D Beyond integration is now officially going to be integrated with Start Playing Games. They're going to cross promote each other, I think is what they're mostly trying to get to.
That's actually huge if they really integrate it. I mean, if it's just cross promoting, that's one thing. But if they actually integrate
I suspect they're going to give Start Playing Game GMs access to the D&D Beyond system.
Yeah.
And there's probably going to be a D&D Beyond community of players that will have access to the Start Playing Games community and kind of create this ability for you to integrate the two platforms with each other, which that's a lot of corporate speak for, hey, I've got a lot of DMs and a lot of players. You have a lot of content. Let's get together and figure out a way how we can leverage each other's abilities.
Right.
when I first signed up with Start Playing Game 5 years ago, their website was terrible. And then I revisited after I heard about 6 months ago, I heard rumors that there was some kind of D&D Beyond Start Playing, partnership coming. And I couldn't help but notice their website had completely changed. I mean, they had built some solid dashboard material, some solid templates, some pretty solid organizational pieces. The scope of what they make is 15% off of the total seat ticket, so that's fine. That's not huge. It's not like almost 30 like Adam got up to. So it's like it's very doable. If the quality of their player market is a player-starved market, they'll do well. But I have the ability and the patience to hold out for people that want to spend $30, a session. There are people on there charging $35 and $40.
Really?
But I suspect they're playing a lot of shorter campaigns. I find $30 is a sweet spot for long-term campaigns that people feel comfortable doing.
I was going to say, I think that's I would agree.
So that's for an operational session. I'm basically making, $10 an hour per person.
Yeah.
Obviously the aggregate cost, if you have 5 people, a 3-hour session is $150. 3 hours, you're really making $50 an hour. Of the aggregate table. Yeah. In reality, it does not take into consideration my pre-work and my post-work.
No.
So my pre-work and my post-work is like an hour a table. Yeah. So, that's anywhere from 7 to 12 hours of extra work on top of the, 21 hours of gameplay that's going on. So,
I feel like both from a GM and a player standpoint, I feel like $30, I would very much agree. I feel like $30 is kind of the sweet spot.
Yep.
And as a GM, yes, if you break it down in terms of preparation and all this, I just did a corporate event just yesterday, in fact. And I won't go into the details, but it worked out very well. But pricing wise, there's a lot of consideration, that goes into what to charge.
Right.
And I think, for a remote game, for a weekly game or bi-weekly game, whatever it is, I would agree. I think $30 seems to be the sweet spot for both GMs and players. And yeah, when you break it down, I mean, given the amount of prep that goes in and organization, I still think the players are coming out a little bit ahead, which is totally cool. That's fine. Because again, we're running games of D&D.
So what did I not see in the roadmap that I think would have been nice to see?
Okay.
No announcement about a new library of, fictional books that we could feed off of and get creative off of. I hope someday somebody's going to take the blue pill and realize how much that really affected D&D back in the days.
40% chance.
Yeah.
Can you?
40% chance of rain in the desert.
Exactly.
There's zero announcement for GM support. Zero anything once again. For GM support. They're so tone deaf, they're so detached and so focused on just delivering things to players that I don't even think they know that GMs aren't different than players. I think when they've got this idea in their head that everybody does a rotating GM system for the most part. Therefore, everyone's a player. A GM's a player, a player's a player. So for them, they don't want to take an honest look at the fact that D&D Beyond needs an Atlas system. It needs something that you can build a campaign on and tie all that content in together and create something for your players to go look at as lore, as opposed to us being stuck with these kind of mediocre third-party systems that kind of do it okay, but they're not fully integrated. They're not,
I just had this discussion yesterday with the crew that I ran this session for. and we actually spoke to this direct point, is that there is still, as a GM using D&D Beyond, and I still use D&D Beyond as my main way to run remote games. The
Right.
VTT mapping, the encounter builder, all that stuff. But again, it all feels like separate. You've got the encounter builder here, you've got the VTT here, you've got the archive of all the D&D Beyond stuff here. It doesn't feel as integrated as it should from a GM standpoint, and I totally agree with you. Players will the lift for a player is so much lighter than a lift for the GM, and if you create for that lift for a GM, the player aspect will just naturally follow.
Yeah, I think like what I was looking for was like after seeing how well their the video series the Dungeon Masters was doing.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking for something like here we're officially announcing our GM Masterclass series where you know, if you have a certain tier within D&D Beyond, we're going to develop this masterclass just for the GMs to help them, you know, this, help them that, help them this, because to me, it's like if you help people be a good GM over the long run is going to get you a lot more players than savvy marketing.
Absolutely.
You know, so
and it still feels cobbled together.
It still does.
Everybody has gotten about 80% of the way there, but nobody has really figured. And it kind of boggles my mind as like, what? It's not rocket science. But I think to your point, everybody focuses on the player aspect because they feel, I don't know, it's a guess, but they feel that the player aspect is more is more apt to monetizing than the GM aspect, which I think is completely opposite model.
And that reminds me, one thing I forgot about. They gave very little details, so it's probably going to come out after now that the keynote's been given. But supposedly there's a Star Wars crossover.
Really?
Yeah, a D&D Star Wars crossover. So now that does remind me that the company that initially made the D&D open license 5.e Star Wars website and rule set did get bought out. So I'm wondering if there's some behind the scenes activity there that we don't know about yet.
Interesting.
The idea that they can take the 5.5 rule mechanic and develop a Star Wars game out of it. That was the only thing that intrigued me because I love Star Wars. It's something new.
Everybody in our generation loved Star Wars.
Yeah. So it's like it's something new that they're playing with. They have no real track record with it. It's something that I can explore because I don't have any relationship with D&D and Star Wars combined, other than the Star Wars 5e, website where all they did is just take the mechanics and rules and then built it into the lore of Star Wars. So it's like, to me, that was an interesting release. But once again, they purposely don't give you much information because they want you to, hang around, follow, and, But it's like as soon as I got done watching the keynote address, like around 3:00, 3:30, I noticed that my YouTube feed was filling up with all the bootlicker influencers, all already just to kind of jump on that point, that clickbait bandwagon and get as much out of this as they can. And I just really want a young generation to step back and say to yourself, are they delivering you something that continues to entice you to play the game? If revisiting my playground entices you to play the game, then by all means, man, feel free. Enjoy Dark Sun. Enjoy whatever, I've already played. I'm cool with that. But if you're expecting WotC to get ultra creative and build a brand new world like Matt did for Critical Role, even though some people will still call it, Terrell Light or Faerun Light, I will say this much. at least the whole world was developed. The Faerun world is not even a real world; it's a continent, and there's these 4 or 5 other continents that barely either ever got touched or hardly ever got developed. So it's like, I to me, what would have been a real game changer for WotC is if they came out and said, okay, we're releasing our roadmap for the GM Masterclass. By the way, we've reached out the community. We understand that you want new stuff. Something like Neon Odyssey is brand new. It's a brand new thought. It's a brand new, pop culture scene that is way better than anything WotC could have thought up on their own. Go ahead and reintroduce us to Dark Sun, but do it in such a way where you're like, and we're bringing you back to Dark Sun, except for one thing. The High Dragons have finally taken over the capital city. The world has shifted and changed, and a whole new era of new discovery is not only awaiting those that were there once before, but those that are going to see it for the first time. Like, stop introducing shit like you're trying to appeal to a 55-year-old white male who's like, see, we're listening. Dark Sun's back. Yeah, that's great. But guess what? I've got all the books right there on my shelf, every single one. Yeah. All the modules, the maps, the box sets, whatever, they're sitting right there. They never left me. I've been playing for years. Or Greyhawk. The great battle between the witches has finally resigned. Here the gods have fallen, and only nature is the strong magic that survived. Come to the primordial world of Greyhawk. Find your way through a web of dinosaurs and primordial existence, and see if you can't find the old ruins of an ancient biblical city, and maybe stumble across the ruins of the Temple of Evil while you're at it. It's like
This is why I like playing in your campaigns, because you put a spin on old shit that makes you want to play. No, you're right. It's interesting that you say this, and I don't know that I've ever thought of this before, but it seems like they're very trepidatious to. I don't know. It seems like they're very careful in introducing, and I use this in big air quotes, new content, because they don't want to piss people off.
No,
and in doing so, they miss the mark and they end up pissing people off.
Well, I mean, I'm not angry about it. I'm just, it's all criticism.
I'm not angry about it. I'm just saying it seems like, I don't know. It seems like they're just, I don't know. There is so much rich history and rich lore in D&D, but like, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I just feel like something is. It's like throwing a dart and you're just constantly missing the bullseye. But by that,
no, I think it's actually worse than that. I think it still boils down to a money problem.
You think so?
It's a money problem, and it's an IP solution, right? As an IP, you've got all this pre-existing lore.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go out and hire people to do some more like newer, updated artwork, and then kind of republish what you already own. So you're not really paying all that much money to do it. And then you're really building these glossy books, and you're able to now get $50, $60 a book, because that's just the way the economy of scale is right now. So you put very little effort into it, update your art. You already own the IP. You've got a whole new generation of individuals that have not experienced some of this content, but yet in the entertainment world, they're very familiar with Joe Manganiello, right? They've seen him in True Blood.
Yeah.
They've seen him in all the movies he's been in, the series he's been in. They know he's an avid D&D player. Death Saves was a very popular product line. Mm-hmm. His first run of Icons was very popular. His Archon the Cruel mini I have on my shelf behind me. It's a very beautiful mini, and it's one of the very first series of pre-painted minis that I bought into because I hate painting minis. I'm not one of those people. And I like the idea that I can buy an affordable mini that's already painted and put it on the table. So there's a lot of popularity there with a little bit of a newish skin on top of it. But at the end of the day, if I'm a 21-year-old college kid getting to D&D for the first time, I don't know who Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman are. I don't know who R.A. Salvatore is. I don't know who the trinity of the 10 towns are, Regis the Halfling and Drizzt Duorden. I don't know that. So it's fine to make all that canon or lore and start a new calendar in Faerun and call it, like I did with one of my campaigns.
Yeah.
I have a game called Phase Reckoning, right? And it crossed over with the, game that we wrapped up over a 2-year campaign, so it's like, all I did was make everything before the year 1500 lore, started a whole new timeline, and just built all new things for people to play in. But you could still go to the Sunset Mountains, you could still go to Moonshae Isles, you could still go to Waterdeep, you could still go down to Baldur's Gate, you could still go to Chult. To assume everything remains static forever is to gaslight my basic intelligence. It's like
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree. And I
selling me an old pair of shoes and calling them something else, it's not going to work for me either. I want something new. I want something.
Well, that's kind of when I told you. That's kind of when I was buying multiple copies of every book, the alternate cover.
But you're a graphic designer by heart. I love graphic art.
It was when Spelljammer came out that I finally woke up and smelled the coffee. It's like, okay, you're just regurgitating the shit that you've done for so many years, and it's just, I'm over it. And I don't know, I honestly, I don't know what it is. I don't claim to know what is in the minds of those that are running WotC right now, whether it is just this trepidation to upset the balance of what they have, or if they're truly tone deaf to what the community wants, or I honestly don't know at this point, but it just feels like there's so much opportunity there, and they're scared to tap into it.
Yeah, Xander's saying it almost feels like they are too scared to move out of the established settings to make new ones, since original settings have done well.
Exactly.
I also have another twist on that. I think that's actually the safe explanation they want people to believe. I think it's actually more dire than that. They recognize that the third-party creator force is so much better than they are.
Yeah.
They've kind of subjugated the WotC creator pool to just regurgitating pre-owned IP. Therefore, it's very low cost and easy to produce. And then they've saved all this space for the real talent. Grim Hollow and, Acquisitions Incorporated and Dungeon Dudes and Neon Odyssey, right? It's like
I don't dispute that. I think you were actually right. That is a very, very short-sighted blinders.
Yes, it is. It's like it allows them to really streamline the group they need to control, and then profit off the group that they can't control.
Yeah,
they can't really control that third-party group other than managing it through the OGL, and therefore hoping that as long as you're operating within the OGL, we get our cut of the IP percentage. You can do whatever you want. We don't have to manage you. This little group of people that we have left over, we're going to manage you through our pre-existing IP. We're going to want you to go back, reread everything we've already done, put some new lipstick on that pig, and sell it to a new generation of players.
Yeah.
I would. Unfortunately, I'd like to say that I thought up that on my own, but the reality is, I've sat in so many corporate meetings where that's exactly how executive officers feel about what they can do.
At the end of the day, you and I could talk about this at Players, but we're both experienced enough to know that it's a business like anything else, and it is
but I'm
comes
okay
to
with
the same bullshit as any other. And you're right. At the end of the day, you're right.
But my caveat on all this is that when you have accomplished certain things through your release, it is okay to hold on to your moral high ground of your process. There's a company out there called Global Ocean or Ocean Global or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They make devices that collect trash that exits rivers before it gets out to the Great Garbage Patch. And they've been doing this for 10 years. And they're really good at what they're doing. And they take what they're really good at and they get better and they get more creative.
Okay.
I feel like WotC has plateaued. They realize they can't, because of their corporate structure and their lack of morality, they can't really attract creators that they feel are confident of keeping. And these other creators would rather really stay independent, and they would rather tolerate WotC, WotC's IP program, so they can make a little bit of money, but still hold on to their creative license and do far more enriching things and far more socially enriching things.
Yeah.
So I mean, we are both right. At the end of the day, which is a stupid saying, I hate it, but at the end of all things, they are a corporation. They have shareholders. They sit in corporate dungeons and talk about the numbers they have to meet.
Yeah.
And then within those dungeons, they talk to those that are imprisoned in those dungeons and say, all right, if you want to buy that new car and not be homeless and you want to afford your house, this is the line you have to toe, and we will not tolerate dissent.
And and you're right. You're right. And unfortunately, with this particular product, that flies in the face of what the community wants. And you know what surprises, I mean, we've spent a lot of time over the years, and we can actually say that over the years, ripping on WotC. I don't know, it's still, when you boil it down, to me, it still comes down to a very simple, like, you know what? Okay, you don't want to upset the cauldron, fine. Keep regurgitating what you have. You know what? Give me an integrated tool. You guys are 80% of the way there, well beyond anybody else. Finally integrate D&D Beyond with the VTT, which is also, I think, for what it does, it's a very good tool. I use it, but it's like 75, 80% of the way there. The Encounter Builder, same thing. It's like 60% of the way there. You don't even have to give us anything new. Just fix what you have out there so that we can actually utilize it. And this is another conversation that I had with this client yesterday in terms of, oh my God, Xander, you're right. It is way better than it used to be. Absolutely. They are making progress, and I give them credit. And I still use D&D Beyond for 90% of my campaigns when I run games, okay? Because it is simple. What they have is relatively stable, and it works. But I think that their focus is just in the wrong place. They should be focusing 100% or 90% in my opinion on that online tool to be able to run games. And it still feels cobbled together, even within the D&D Beyond ecosystem. It still feels cobbled together. Like, I've got my VTT here, I've got my Encounter Builder here, I've got my character sheets here. It's just that is what gets me about WotC, is not necessarily the lack of groundbreaking achievements. It is just the lack of fine-tuning what you already have that is almost there, and just fix it and make it workable.
Didn't they say they were going to focus more on the digital stuff? So maybe they are doing it. It's just not.
I don't know, because the last I heard, the digital focus was turning D&D into a fucking World of Warcraft game, which nobody who plays the game wants. So I don't know. That's a very good question. Maybe they're doing it. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I can't imagine. I mean, I'm not a back end developer. Gee, this is more your purview, Jason. But I can't imagine that, given what they have to start with, it is not that difficult to pull that all together. And I feel like, I don't know. I still feel like WotC is just, they're throwing darts at a dartboard in all places, and they just don't. Well,
keep in mind their roadmap for 2027 clearly allows them to not have to streamline anything or fix anything. It's all stuff that they've already exists. D&D Beyond is, for all intents and purposes, is a development company that is trying its best after 2 cycles of ownership to integrate a mass amount of IP with a very kind of rigorous front end SQL table database system.
So close. I just don't think it's.
I don't think they're close at all. I think that's the problem. I mean,
I don't think they're close from a roadmap standpoint.
You know what would look cool for D&D Beyond to do that would absolutely rock the world is that they identify the subscriber for who they are, and when you go to their website, you get one single button that says Atlas of D&D.
Yeah,
and when you click on it
before,
and you click the Atlas button, and then it gives you an experience because you're more of a player than a GM, or it gives you a GM's experience. That way, as you're using the tool, it's very much refined for all the pieces that you need it to be refined for. And then it allows you to create a unique experience within your campaign for your players to come visit your Atlas. And when they come to visit your Atlas, they immerse themselves either in the Phandelver world, the Moonshae Isle world, or in Grim Hollow, or Acquisitions Incorporated. Give a space that's very streamlined and simple, and let the point and click of the people vibe towards their experience. Stop trying to hold the leash and hold the hand. Just let it happen. Just bend over the counter, hold your breath, just let it, it's just, I don't know, man.
And I agree. That's my point when I say they're like 80% of the way there. They're 80, they bought into D&D Beyond, and it was already 80% of the way there.
There's a problem with something that's always 80% the way there.
What's that?
It's never ever going to be 100% done.
Well, because they don't have the right vision. Their VTT is 70% there.
Oh, I know, Lee.
Their counter builder is 65%. It's just like I don't understand what the roadblock is to integrating all these things into one tool. They are so close.
I can tell you exactly what the problem is.
Don't tell me it's back-end development.
No. It's simple. It's vision and leadership.
Exactly. That's my point.
Your point is a lot of gobbledygook where you could have just said vision and leadership.
No, I agree with Jason on this point 100%. I don't understand why.
No, he was referring to my, WotC taking it up the ass.
Oh, I'm not gonna argue with that either. I'll back you up on that. It's just they've I think they've had enough years now. When did WotC purchase?
Do we have a dead horse emoji? Do we have a dead horse emoji? I feel like we officially should make a dead horse emoji.
That emoji would have been used up long ago.
Yeah, the only problem with that, Lee, is that for all of the troubles and all the challenges, D&D is a huge moneymaker, and companies don't sell things off till they start losing money. That's the only time they start selling them off. I mean, between Magic the Gathering, D&D, WotC makes a lot of money for
Of course they do.
Hasbro is not going to sell anyone until they're not making money.
It is a mediocre way of thinking to just toe the line until you have to make a change because it is no longer making money.
Now,
rather than saying, how could we make this? It's just
a million like-minded. If we find a million like-minded people to donate $1,000 each to buy the IP, that would be pretty cool. I'd be okay with that.
Okay, right now we are starting a campaign. Everybody, I don't even think it's 1,000. Everyone out there, okay, and I'm talking to all 2 of you who watch us, to donate $10, and then we will have $20 to do.
We have a CapEx problem, so I really need those 2 people to donate $500 million. Then we can buy it and get it back on track.
Yeah.
We did it. We killed an hour, and Instagram even said they had it.
I know, right? I know.
Instagram said, "You're out of here."
Oh my God, Marvel! That's another perfect example of an IP that they have just fucking, destroyed and choked to death, and it's just it's.
Do a whole other show on that. Anyways, Brian, where can we find you?
You can find me, Jason, at rpgandco.com. No, I'm sorry, rpgandco at Instagram. Shoot me a DM. I always love talking about game stuff. And check out the website at playrpgandco.com. There's a bunch of cool stuff on there. Some apparel, some swag, and some digital content. Some created by myself, and a lot of it created by Jason. How about you?
You can find me over at ttrpgacademy.life. You can also find me over at startplayinggames.com. As always, I do my best in the socials. I'm not very good at it, but our Discord is a lot of fun. I'm always willing to have
we're both always stuck at socials.
Yeah. I'm more than happy to have a long Discord conversation and point you towards my YouTube channel that has our actual play games that are linked to the pay-to-play system. So if you're looking for that game that you can't find, come check out our website. And, hey, Brian, TPK.
Yes. Tell the story, Jason.
Play a game, Brian.
And always remember, please be kind.
Be kind to everyone. Good night, all.
Thank you for joining.